Yo, it's Wyvern, also known as Brick. Today we're covering Rise and Fall and all of the community medals. Okay, credentials. For keybinds, the first thing you have to do is make punch scroll wheel down or scroll wheel up, whatever your preference is. And then next, for some harder routes, you want your toggle crouch bound. Mine is on a side mouse button. Starting with the emerald routes, the time to beat is 8.649. This one here is an easy emerald route. Even if you have some mistakes, you can still get the emerald time. Here's that same route, except the only difference is that there's no punch at the start. So instead you dash jump. Moving on to my personal routing. It's a lot harder, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's still pretty fun. For these, all you have to make sure you're doing is getting the max pickup range out of the jet leap orbs. And again, here's that same route, except no punch at the start. For all of these, I would recommend learning that starting punch. However, it's good to know that you can do it without if you don't want to learn it. Moving on to Amethyst, the time to beat is 6.999. Unfortunately, from here on out, you'll have to learn the starting punch, as well as some other punches later on. Trust me, they're not as bad as they seem. I'll break it down for you. If you're just looking to get Amethyst, this is the route for you. You punch both the pillars, and then you punch the top of the red crate. However, in the other variation, you punch the pillar, then you punch the ramp below you, and then you also punch the top of the red crate. There's also an extra fourth punch you can do on the first concrete pillar of the fence. However, if you're doing the S and D variation, it can sometimes be hard to fit everything in the ending. With the ramp variation, I would recommend doing that fourth punch as it makes it easier. Okay, here we are on 10% speed. I muted the audio for both our ears, and here's the full breakdown. So off rip, instantly dash, hold W and A, and jump as late as possible and do that first punch. Then look towards the first ramp, dash toward it. In this variation, you don't have to do the punch here. So what you're going to do is just instantly jump off, shoot the first red target, and then as you're flying through the air, you shoot the jet leap orb, dash towards the next crate. And now here, you want to jump off as soon as possible, switch to holding only D, then scroll wheel punch, and scroll wheel punch again. And now here's where the scroll wheel bind comes into play here. As soon as you pass through that blue tarp and see the red crate, you want to dash and then tap your toggle crouch key. Then you hold S and D, look at the first pillar, and this is where you just spam your scroll wheel. So scroll wheel the first pillar, scroll wheel the second pillar, and then scroll wheel the top of that red crate. Now you want to transition, turn around holding W, use the jet leap as you hold W and A, turn to face the first red target, and then shoot the first red target, transitioning to only holding A, shoot the jet leap, instantly use it, now convert to A and S as you're shooting the final target. These final inputs are very important for getting around that pillar at the end. You'll find early on you'll be hitting into that pillar a lot and you won't be smooth. Getting those inputs right and turning to look towards the first target as you use your jet leap will really help you get around that pillar. The reason you want to use your toggle crouch key in this section, it's not necessary for the S&D route, but it definitely makes it more consistent, and it's necessary for the ramp route. It pulls your legs in closer to your body, making sure you have less chance of hitting anything, so you can get the right angle and get over everything as cleanly as possible. Now we'll watch it in full speed. This next demonstration has the fourth punch on the SD route. And here's that same route, except at the start, instead of jump punching, you just do an extra dash on that first slanted wall. Alright, now this is the ramp route with 4 punches. Same exact start, but it's different right here. So you do the dash and the crouch necessary, and then you punch the first pillar only holding D. And then you look down, punch the ramp, and then look up, punch the top of the crate, and then I would recommend the fourth punch on that pillar there. That whole section is holding D or WD, apart from the first pillar. I found the most consistent thing is to punch the first pillar with only D. Now here's that same route at full speed. A little tip for the ending is to shoot lower than you think on that first target. Since you're moving upwards, it's easy to miss high if you aim right at it. You can also do the same route just with 3 punches, but with the ramp one, I would definitely recommend doing the fourth one. It only makes it easier. To recap, there's 2 variations. There's the ramp variation and the SD variation. And you can either do 3 punches or 4 punches for both. For the S&D variation, I would recommend doing 3 punches, and for the ramp variation, I would recommend do 4. The Sapphire route is easiest using the ramp method, so why not learn it now? However, if you're only trying to learn Amethyst, the S&D route is a little easier because of less inputs and less camera movement. For Sapphire, the time to beat is 6.199. Sapphire route is the same as the Amethyst route, except no jump at the start, and there's an extra punch. To make it as easy as possible, you want to dash, land on the wall while you're pre-aiming the target, shoot, instant jump as you're turning around, and then punch the wall behind you, and then instantly turn back around, shoot, then dash as you're heading towards the red crate. It sounds pretty hard, but once you find that rhythm, it's not that bad. For the easiest time getting Sapphire, I would recommend doing the ramp route with 4 punches, as shown on screen. You can also do it with 3, but I don't know why you'd want to. If you find your alignment is off for the ending during the ramp route, it's due to you not crouching soon enough or holding inputs other than D on the first pillar. And then finally, you can also do the S&D route with 3 punches. In my opinion, for the S&D route, the 4th punch makes it harder, so I would only do 3. Big shout out to Dave and Amar. I really couldn't have done it without them. And besides that, in the description, I'll put links to the Discord, the website, and the spreadsheet with all the community times. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and good luck on your grind. I'll see you guys later.